Hello, this video is about adjusting edges and doing something to get rid of halos. Halos are those little white edges like in this case, where if I take her off of this background and put her in a dark background, we will get we will get haloing here and there. The blurrier your edges are, the more haloing you're going to get. So let's give this a whirl. First, I'm just going to change this to a regular layer, and I'm going to make a selection of her. You can do this a couple of different ways. The reason I took her off of the regular layer is because you can use remove background, but you don't have the editability there until you get the mask. So I think we're going to use select subject, and we're going to use the cloud because that should give us a little better result. It takes just a little bit longer, but I've got my default set to that now. So you may want to go into your Photoshop settings and change that. That would be under performance, possibly. That would be under image processing. We're going to go into image processing for this. We're going to tell it, and it's already done on mine, rather than use a device, use the cloud. It's not going to work if you're not connected to a Wi-Fi or if you're not online, but otherwise it's going to work really, really well. I want selection process faster, remove tool, more stable. I think I'm going to do more stable on those and put that in. And then click OK. So that will be my default for it until I change it again or until I update to a new version of Photoshop. So in this case, I'm going to use the selection tools, use select subject. I've got some things that need to be changed a little bit, so I'm going into select and mask. I am in the black and white mask right now. I'm going to go to the red so I can see a little bit. We've got some stuff in her hair that just isn't going to be noticed until we go in there and actually use it. In this case, I want to be in refine edge right here, and I want it to not be huge. I want the brush size to be fairly small, and I want to make sure I click in the light areas there. See how it's just turning those red like the mask right now? So that's going to help you correct those little spots. I also want to make sure that I get these little hairs right here, and I'm not concerned about her sash there at all. Okay, I'm going to let that go at this point and just click OK. Okay, so now I want to make a layer mask out of that. She's selected, so all I have to do is click the mask icon and I have a mask. I'm going to add a new layer underneath this one, which I can do that very quickly by going Command or Control and clicking on the new layer mask and the new layer icon. That puts it underneath, and Option Delete or Alt Backspace will fill it with black. So now you can really see your edges. I've got a little bit of a very rough edge here, and I've got a little bit of that, just a little bit of that haloing there, and some haloing right there. So we can look around. This is really subtle. The selection tool has done a lot better job lately. So we have a rough edge on her arm there, and we have kind of a haloed edge over here. So I'm going to start on the halo edge first. I want to use the smudge tool, and I don't want it to be too big in areas like this where I'm just tucking that little bit of white back in. So I'm going to just push that. Oh, I want to make sure first that I am on the layer mask of that layer. So I'm going to just push that and see how nicely it just pops that right into the space it should be in. And if you use the larger size, it's a little bit smoother, but sometimes you're going to need to do the smaller size. It also gives us a little bit of blur on the edge, which is really nice, gives us a kind of organic edge there. Okay, so we've got a little haloing down here. And just, I'm going to go over that edge here a little bit. Right here, and keep going. And you get the idea. Now down here where her hand is, those are smaller curves, so I'm going to make the size of my brush smaller. I did that with the right-left bracket keys, the square bracket keys, and the left one makes it smaller, the right one makes it larger. So I'm coming in there and tucking away those. And again, that gives us a nice edge and gets rid of any kind of haloing there. And we're just working on the mask. Now over here, where we've got a rough arm, that doesn't look very organic to me. So we're not going to do that this time with the smudge tool. We're going to do it with the blur tool. And they're clustered together here by default. So right now, I'm just going to go over that edge. I'm going to make that a little bit smaller, so I don't want the edge to be too blurry. And I'm just going to run over that. We're just working on the mask until I make it softer again. I want this to be nice and organic. And then in here, I'm going to switch back to the smudge tool and use it fairly small in here to pull, a little bit smaller, to pull the black into that area and get rid of that white haloing there. And then I can also reverse, if I got too aggressive with it, I can pull it back this way a little bit. And then again here, just a little bit more of a nudge there. And then see, the haloing is very evident right there in this area, that little white bit there. And because you're working on the mask, you can go switch to white if you overdo it. The edge tool right there. And just carefully tuck those areas in, and that will do you proud in your final projects. So there we have it. She looks a lot better that way. The selection tools are getting so much better that it's really cool to not have as much to do. Down here we've got quite a bit on that edge. And it's getting a little too blurry, so I'm just going to come back here and pull a little bit of that back. But you don't want your edges to be super, super hard and jaggy. You want them to be nice and organic. So right in here, I've got just that little bit, and that should do it. So that is just a little lesson on using the smudge tool and the blur tool to help you kind of fine-tune your selections, especially when you go from light to dark or dark to light. You're going to pick up little bits of the background as a halo, and this will make your life a lot easier if you know how to do this. So I'm just going to use the brush tool here, get rid of that little dot there, and there we go. We've got our selection made. Oh, and I don't think I need this little bit of her sash there. So that is the lesson for today, and hope you find that helpful.